In a crucial moment of the game, Naruhaya sets his sights on the goal and takes aim to shoot. However, Blue Lock Man manages to make a saving dive to prevent the ball from entering the net. Isagi and Nagi quickly move in to try to secure the rebound, but Baro should get to choose first. Nagi retorts that he lost, and that Baro is no longer won back, starting a pillow fight. Isagi starts to wonder if he made a mistake in bringing the two of them on the team. After winning the 2-on-2 match and choosing Baro as their third player, Isagi, Baro, and Nagi head towards the restroom, where Nagi and Baro throw pillows at each other. Angered, Isagi tells them to knock it off as the dust on the pillow is bad for their health and will make them sneeze. As they sneeze, Baro tells them to clean the room, as the dirty room feels sore to him. Angry at his words, Nagi calls him maid, while Baro begins to call him Pain Man. As they have friendly fight with each other, Isagi thinks that Baro has his own set of absolute rules. He has a very specific way of living his life, including going to bed at 10 and waking up early in the morning. This seems like a pain to him. However, he believes that the aesthetics behind his personal rules give birth to his overwhelming abilities in the field, which might be the driving force behind his ego. While practicing, Nagi wonders why Baro is not practicing with them, as they are the only two who are practicing, to which Isagi informs him that Baro is doing his daily physical training, and due to this, he cannot participate in the practice. When asked to join the practice session, Baro shuts them up and tells them to wait for another 40 minutes. Seeing Baro's physical training, Isagi thinks that his thorough training and stoicism might be the reason behind his strength. He asks Baro to let him join his physical training, but Baro denies it, stating that a loser like Isagi can't keep up with his training. Shocked, Isagi tells him that he won't know unless he tries. As he heads to train with Baro, Isagi wonders that in order to keep winning, advancing, and even defeating the top three, the three of us must produce a chemical reaction. While in the Blue Lock Central meeting room, Unri informs all the investors about the second selection round. She tells them that each player will polish their teamwork abilities and deepen their personal awareness and understanding of others. The players will apply their various mindsets to build teams and compete with each other. She adds that by developing the tactical skills and guiding principles, we are accelerating their self-reliance as players. And in this way, we will develop unique independent strikers, which is the main purpose of this Blue Lock second selection training program. One of the investors rejects her idea and says they need a new star to represent Japan, a high school star that everyone will talk about. Hearing this, Ego calls them old fogies who only think about profits. Ego asks how many prodigies they have crushed with their approach. And when asked what the meaning of this is, Ego states that they waste no time declaring someone a prodigy, whom fans begin to consider as their new national star, even blowing their money on match tickets and jerseys. He further adds that the prodigy then heads overseas to play. But due to the culture shock and language barrier, he can't meet the expectations, and after 2 or 3 years, the prodigy comes back to Japan and spends the rest of his career in a mid-level domestic league. He informs them that as long as this scenario continues to repeat, Japanese soccer is destined to remain third-rate and they will never be able to produce a world-class striker. One of the investors says that they need to consider their budget and need money to cover it. Angered, Ego asks if they know the difference between naturally born abilities and gifted physical abilities, but to him, they are nothing but raw ore. Determined, Ego states that he will produce a genius in a Blue Lock, which will be the proof of his waged life. After the training is over, Egg and Nagi head to the rest place, but they find Baro already sleeping in one of the beds. Jin then takes the upper bed, as shocked Isagi sticks in the middle one, claiming that both of them are so selfish. The next day, Kunigami, Ryo, and Chigiri start their training session and begin to improve their teamwork. Chigiri tells Kunigami that Isagi's team must have won and advanced to the next round, and they should also try to advance and meet them sooner than later. Kunigami tells him to not rush things. If they are not careful, they won't get stronger and will just lose in the end. He declares that their only goal is to defeat Isagi and Bachiro, and for that, they need to advance by getting strong guys on their team. When asked what his thoughts are on this, Ryo states that he does not care as long as he can beat Nagi and make him admit that he needs Ryo. While in the third stage dining hall, Isagi thinks about Naruhaya's words and asks Baro about his playing style. When asked why he is asking this question, Isagi states that he wants to make a chemical reaction between them, and that's why they should understand each other's playing style. Baro shuts him down and tells him to act as a decoy and help him score more goals. Isagi tells him that if he continues like this, he can't make his team win. Angered, Baro informs him that the only reason he lost the match is because of Naruhaya and that he will win with his own goals in the next match. He also tells him that if he wants to hang up on teamwork, then he should have just teamed up with Naruhaya. Isagi informs that he and Naruhaya understand each other but cannot produce chemical reactions, and he wants his physical abilities that will enable him to take a shot from 28 meters range. He also tells him that his abilities are massive, and if he has to work his whole life to get them, he still won't get them. Annoyed, Baro leaves the table and states that he wants to take a bath as he does not believe in teamwork. At the third stage bath, Isagi came across a Kunigami, who asked what he was doing in the third stage. Isagi tells him that they lost to Rin in the match, and they took Bachira with them, and they stole Baro and kicked out Naruhaya. Suddenly, Chigiri comes from behind and asks why he left them behind. Isagi states that he wanted to wait, but Nagi approached him, to which both Kunigami and Chigiri agree that they would have done the same if they were approached by Nagi. Suddenly, Baro arrives and asks them to clean their bodies and towels. Since the trio wants to crush Isagi, they challenge him to a 3-on-3 match, and Isagi can't help but agree to it. Before the match, Isagi informs Nagi and Baro about his plan. He tells them that they will use passes that Baro can receive easily, and he and Nagi will pass back and forth to respond to the enemy's attack, and then they will be flexible about who shoots. Arguing again, Isagi wonders that it will be hard to get those two to cooperate on the field, but he'll just have to respond to both of them to make a chemical reaction. Suddenly, Nagi asked why he chose to fight against them. Isagi tells him that he is good at handling the ball, while Baro is great at his dribbling, and he himself is amazing at his direct shots. But to beat Rin's team, they are missing some critical strength, and that strength is Chigiri's speed. Hearing this, Baro disagrees with the idea and wants Kunigami in his team. Informs them that he promised Ryo to be together till the end and wants him on his team. Isagi tells them that if they don't win their next match, one of them will get stolen. On the other side, Kunigami appoints Ryo in the back, as he and Chigiri will go forward and use their weapons to attack. He further states that since they don't know other team strategies, they should cover their defense. Suddenly, Ryo informs them that he will take Isagi and shut him out, and that he will prove to Nagi that he made a wrong choice. They agreed, to which Kunigami states that he will cover Baro since they have the same physical abilities, while Chigiri will cover Nagi. Admiring Nagi's abilities, Kunigami states that he is the best in terms of talent, but Ryo informs him that he wants to kick Nagi down and make him feel regretful for his actions. On the other side, Eryu and Tokimitsu ask other teams to play with their team, but they reject their offer, stating that they are the top 3 of Blue Lock and they don't stand a chance against them. Shocked, Tokimitsu thinks that if no one plays with them, they will run out of time and maybe drop out of the Blue Lock. Bachira, who is enjoying his meal, tells him that he does not want to play with a low-level team but rather wait for Isagi's team to arrive at the 4th stage and play with them. Rin, who is training alone in the training area, gets approached by Bachira, who wants to play with him, but Rin denies him, saying that he will get on his way. Bachira informs him that if he plays with him, he will make things more fun. While going to the match, Isagi states that he wants to steal back Bachira so he won't get stopped at 3 versus 3, and for this, he will win this match. As the match begins, Kunigami and Baro clash with each other with their physical abilities, but Kunigami stops his attack. Isagi asks for the ball, but he denies it, stating that he will score a goal with his own abilities. Suddenly, Rio arrives from behind and uses a 2-on-1 tactic to steal the ball from Baro. Realizing how much trouble they are in, Rio passes the ball to Chigiri, who then runs at his immense speed and scores a perfect goal, making the score 1-0. Seeing this, Nagi and Isagi get fired up and state that they will crush them.